I didn't realize until after I watched the first 2 episodes of Tomo-chan is a girl that, yes, this is the most genius way to get around the childhood friend curse. Just make the main character the childhood friend, and then they can't lose. So forget that stupid show where the childhood friend can't lose. Forget that. That was a fake out. Burn it. But no, after watching the first 2 episodes of Tomo-chan is a girl, I can honestly say that I'm mixed on the main characters. That's the problem that I'm having right now with this series. But I can honestly say this is one of those series that almost feels like it's being kind of held together by the supporting cast. Like, the supporting cast is what really makes it what it is. But this is my first impressions of Tomo-chan is a Girl, a series that is airing in the winter 2023 anime season. Wait, I got that wrong. How does it go? Never mind. Let's get into it. Tomo-chan is a Girl opens up with a girl named Tomo. And Tomo has one big major problem. That's the fact that she really, really loves Jun, who is her childhood friend. And unfortunately, when she went to confess to Jun and say, I love you, he immediately says, oh, well, why did it take you this long to say that? I love you too, bro. Yes. Tomo's big problem that she's having is that she's in love with her childhood friend who just really just sees her as one of the bros. He doesn't see her as a girl. And this is something that she's kind of obviously seen the signs of as, yes, they grew up together, but at some point when they went to middle school, they went to separate schools. And then when they were reunited at their new school, yeah, he kind of took note of the fact that she was wearing what, girls typically wear, which is a skirt. And he just thinks that, okay, you're just going through some kind of phase or something like that. That's weird, but all right, we'll go with it. Yes, there's a big problem that's stemming here. Tomo and Jun also had another friend when they were growing up, which is Mizuzu. And Mizuzu loves tormenting Jun. She's really, really protective of Tomo, but at the same time just puts Jun through hell. And she sort of acts as a catalyst to kind of push these two together in a certain way. Most of it seems like she's just doing it for amusement of Jun and his reactions, but it does seem like she's trying to at least nudge the two of them together and give some advice to Tomo, who obviously is constantly wondering, why doesn't he see me as a girl? Why am I not seen as a girl? And yes, partly Tomo's fault. She's always acted like one of the bros. She's always hung out with the boys. She never went and hung out with Mizuzu to play dolls and typical girl stuff. Her demeanor, her speech patterns, everything's very masculine. And yeah, that's technically due to the fact that she was raised by a very rough father who taught karate and stuff like that, which, yes, she does know. And so the concept of the first 2 episodes is obviously Tomo trying to get Jun to recognize her as a girl, all the while trying to be more feminine, doing different things that girls would typically do, all the while Jun is constantly dodging and seemingly oblivious to it all. And yes, Mizuzu being the puppet master in the background with her crazy ideas. And sort of slight spoilers, what we get from the first episode, I believe, is, yes, eventually we do get a realization that Jun does know that Tomo is a girl. And this is obvious in the idea that when Mizuzu asks Jun, why aren't you joining any clubs, he feels that it's not necessary, because the clubs themselves are separated between girls' clubs and boys' clubs, and so he feels like he can't hang out with his best friend Tomo, which again, indicates that he does know that she is a girl. In the second episode, we get the introduction of Carol, who is like a foreign exchange student, very blonde hair, very, very goofy. She's very weird. She's very rich. She feels kind of unapproachable. She's had issues with, friends in the past. She's really in love with the school idol guy, Kosuki, who Tomo's really close to, so she gets a little jealous there. You also have this other band of 2 girls who are like in some fan club of Kosuki who get jealous of Tomo as well. But yeah, that is Tomo-chan is a Girl in a nutshell. My thoughts on the series so far. I am actually enjoying it more than I thought I would. Honestly, with the first previews of the series and the PVs, I was a little bit hesitant. Tomo is really loud, and she is extremely violent. And I typically don't like anime where the butt of the joke with every single situation is Tomo gets angry and punches guy. They're really kind of back and forth at each other. They're constantly fighting each other. And so it doesn't really feel like a one-sided violence. They're just the bros, and so they're constantly fighting each other. So that does kind of correct it a little bit for me. And yes, there's the other aspect of the fact that it's Rie Takahashi voicing Tomo, so I don't know. I still don't like her gruffiness. I still don't like that loudness, but it's not unbearable and definitely not as cringe as the dub. Which, if you like the dub, that's perfectly fine. Enjoy it. Eat well. But as I kind of alluded to earlier, the one thing that I was really most concerned about is the concept itself being that Tomo wants June to see her as a girl. And I thought beforehand, like, oh, is this going to be one of those aspects where she's constantly doing cutesy stuff in order to get his attention? He's completely oblivious to it. Or is it going to be an aspect where June doesn't want to accept Tomo as a girl because he's afraid that that's going to break up their friendship? It's that usual trope of, I don't want to get in a relationship with you because I like what we already have and I don't want to lose it. Like I said, very quickly, it seems like it's already establishing that. It's already indicated that June knows that Tomo is a girl, which I think is a good thing because as they kind of get into it the second episode, they start to introduce stuff that where if he did not see her as a girl, I'd be extremely angry. Because yes, the second episode pretty much opens up with Tomo, they're on a train and there is somebody touching her. And he gets mad as hell. Thank you. Because like I said, if he didn't get mad as hell, I'd be really frustrated. Like if we're going to go to the oblivious levels of that far where he's not going to do anything, I would have literally probably wanted to shut off this entire show completely. But it did kind of give that indication of, oh yes, okay, he does see her as a girl. He's getting angry. He's protecting her. And yes, even Mizusu gets to the point where she's like, where's this guy at? I want to take him out. They're very protective of Tomo. And it honestly, that whole scenario, I know I'm getting sidetracked, that whole scenario was actually very interesting in the idea that Tomo, again, always doesn't feel like people see her as a girl. And to have something like that happen is one of those very twisted kind of situations where she's kind of like, whoa, somebody would actually see me as a girl enough that they would do that to me? And it's like, girl, please don't think that way. And then everybody gets upset for her because they all realize that it's a very bad thing for you to accept, no matter what it is. You're getting sidetracked with the fact that you're just thinking about why did June do this if he doesn't see me as a girl? You're not accepting the broader story here, which is that somebody did something very inappropriate. Are you okay? That's what Mizusu says. Are you okay? And someone's like, oh yeah, me? Yeah, sure, I guess. It's like, girl, you got to set your priorities straight. But honestly, my concern really for the series is how well is that going to continue on? How well can this writer really keep this thing going on? Like, you've opened the story with this concept of Tomo wants to be seen as a girl. We've already established that June sees her as a girl, just doesn't want to accept her as a girl. Where do we go from here? Like, how are we going to make this last for 13 episodes? And I think the answer for that so far for me, and I think a lot of other people, as I'm seeing that I'm not alone on this, is Mizusu. Mizusu is literally carrying the show. As much as I love Tomo, I think she's a dork. As much as June and his reactions to Mizusu is hilarious, Mizusu is carrying it because Mizusu is the twisted nature that's trying to pull the strings and make things happen. And most of the comedy of the series has come from that. It's come from Mizusu. So again, you could probably say that Mizusu is technically not a supporting character. She's technically main cast. But at the same time, she's not the main two duo, and yet she's carrying the show. She is hilarious. I typically don't like characters like Mizusu, let me be perfectly honest. And so for her to take off as much as she is, maybe an indication as to the rest of the show itself not really carrying itself well enough. But that she's the pure comedy gold. Again, she's the twisted nature. She's not too twisted. She's not twisted to the point where she's annoying. She's just very protective of Tomo, and she really doesn't like June, which, yes, at the end of the second episode, we know why. We know why she doesn't like June. But I think every interaction between Mizusu and June is just pure comedy gold. And it's always in the idea that June is super petty. Like, I want to clip every single scene where June gets petty with Mizusu. Like, we had the first sequence where it's a contest between Mizusu and June. Who will Tomo come out with the umbrella with because it's raining and they both don't have their umbrella? And while they're waiting, Mizusu's teasing him. Like, eventually she's going to find a boyfriend. And then what are you going to do? And in the midst of her talking about this, June just pushes her out into the rain. And she just stands there and stares at him while rain is pouring on top of her. And they're just staring at each other like, did you just do that? And same later on where they're talking in the classroom and his response to her is just to take her scrunchie out and throw it. And so her hair falls down and they just stand there. And then again, later on with the whole flicking her in the forehead, go ahead and do it. And he flicks her. The chemistry between June and Mizusu is almost as funny as Tomo and June. Because again, Tomo and June's really just the bro joke. That we're bros and Tomo doesn't like it. And again, that's my fear going forward is how long are you going to be able to carry this? This is going to, This is unfortunately going to get tiresome. I think the only thing outside of Mizusu that's sort of keeping it going is really just the introduction of other characters. Carol was weird. Like, she was super weird. Like, she feels like she was pulled out of a different show and shoved in this show, because she's just like this. She's not like an English foreign exchange student. She's just a very richy blondie girl. She's not like your typical fairy. So she doesn't speak like broken Japanese like a foreign exchange student was. She's just dumb. Like, she's extremely dumb. Like, she's been she hung out in the cleaning closet a little bit too long and got too many of those smells in her head. She's very weird. But don't get me wrong, I am enjoying the show a lot. And again, a lot of that has to do with Mizusu. But I still enjoy the chemistry between Tomo and Jun. I like whenever, like, they're in the rain and Tomo gets, you know, her shirt wet, and he immediately realizes her shirt's wet and just runs away in panic. Her getting rid of her spats and him being completely flustered because he can now literally see her legs and her thighs, and that completely throws him off. It still has some really cute interactions between Tomo and Jun. Like I said, they're just not standout. If you pulled Mizusu out of the show, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as I do. And yes, technically, Tomo is a very, very likable character. She's got, yes, she's a little bit rough. You understand why Jun sees her as a boy. She's very rough. She resorts to violence very quickly. But at her core, she has that little bit of vulnerability where she just wants to kind of be seen as more feminine. And it's probably going to get into that whole conversation about being true to yourself. I mean, technically, Kosaki, the school idol, already said it. He likes Tomo for the way that she is. Don't change a thing. You're charming the way you are. And yeah, you can make an argument that Jun already sees it as well. He, again, like I said, I think it's going to turn to one of those things where he just doesn't want to lose his friend. But no, we'll see. We'll see if it can definitely hold to 13 episodes. We technically left episode 2 on an extremely big WTF moment, so we'll see how that turns out with the next episode. Obviously, Tomo's going to be a little bit... gonna be questioning some people. She's gonna be having to go see Mizusu and question some people. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on Tomo-chan as a girl. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of this series. Are you checking it out? Are you enjoying it? Is Mizusu best girl? Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate everybody it does, and y'all take care.